What's the principle of contrast? Well, it's a name given to how we function naturally. It's how all our senses work, our vision, our hearing, our smell, our taste, and our thinking. We see by noticing contrast between things, like black and white. So, how do people use this against you to control you or to make you do things you don't want to do? Most of the time, it's taught in sales. So, it goes something like this. Say I have a store and I have an item that I have a lot of, but it's overpriced because I want to make quite a bit of profit on it. Well, when you walk into my store, I'm not going to bring you to that item and show it to you. The first thing I'm going to do is bring you to either the most expensive thing in the store or something close to it that has a ridiculous price that I know you're not going to buy. Now, if you don't want to go and see it, I'll just appeal to you. I'll appeal to your emotion. I'll get you to just come and see it for me because I'm so happy and proud of it, and I just want to show it to you. Now, people generally want to be good to others, so they're going to humor me. They're going to come and see that item. So I'll show that to them. It's got a ridiculous price. I know they're not going to buy it. But then I bring them to the other item that they actually wanted in the first place. Now, it's overpriced, but in comparison to the thing that I just showed them, the price seems reasonable, even though it's not. If you give them a little bit of time to think about it, then they'll realize, no, I don't want to pay this amount of money for this thing. It's ridiculous. It's half the price down the street. But if you close right there, the contrast will work and they'll buy it. So how do people use this to control you? Well, the one way is with sales. Let's say I want to do something like give you a medical procedure that has a significant amount of risk and not very many solid reasons for you to do the procedure in the first place. This is a common thing that a lot of people are hearing about today. A lot of people are arguing about. How do I make you do that? How do I make you undergo a medical procedure that has significant risk that you don't really have a reason to take? Well, I do the same thing. I use the principle of contrast to do it. So on the one side, even if it's not true, it doesn't have to be true. You just have to think that it's true. I will present to you an alternative scenario that's much worse, like, say, death. If you don't take this procedure, you're going to die, or you have a significant chance of dying. And if you take this procedure, even though it has all these risks associated with it, you have a much better chance of surviving. Now, you keep doing this. You keep presenting this contrast over and over and over because people aren't going to hear it all at once. And at different times, people are more defensive. So you have to hit them at a time when they don't have their defenses up. That's what happens in the media. And it also happens with leaders. They constantly push fear, and then they push something that they want you to do. Sometimes the fear is real, sometimes it's not. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is that you think it's real and that you don't have time to think, and that I keep doing it so that even if you refuse today, tomorrow, the next day, next week, if I keep doing it over and over to you, eventually one of these days you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be not feeling well, maybe you haven't eaten, maybe you've just gotten into a fight and you're feeling rebellious. One of these times it's going to catch you and you're going to do that thing that you never wanted to do in the first place. Contrast is used in all sorts of situations to control behavior. It's an extremely common tactic, and if you know what it is, you can see it in the media, you can hear it in the words that politicians use, you can hear it in the words that leaders of corporations use, and in their speech. You have to be able to recognize these things if you want to defend yourself from them. And you got to be able to teach your children to not fall for these things, to watch for them all the time. All you need to do to teach it to somebody is show them how your senses work. You just need to observe yourself, how you see and how you respond to things. Another simple example is, say I want to make a video, and the person in that video is average looking or short, right? And I want to present them as much better looking than they are or taller than they are. What I'm going to do is put people beside them that are less attractive, and obviously so. The contrast has to be obvious. If they're short, I'll put people beside them that are shorter than them. And then when you see them, they'll seem taller. They'll seem more attractive. Same goes with speech. So if someone isn't very well spoken, you put somebody beside them that can barely speak at all. By contrast, you're going to accept their words and you're going to think, this guy's a good speaker. He really knows his stuff. They do that in politics as well. They'll put a ridiculous politician here and the politician they want you to listen to over here, even if he's not very good. This guy, by being extremely bad, makes this guy over here look really good. It's a very common technique. You need to watch for it. And you got to stop letting people manipulate you with really simple techniques. You have to take your mind back and you have to hold it all the time. That's it.